I know that if you are here, it's because you love photobooks. Maybe you are collectors or just curious, or maybe you are just now getting into photography. Whatever is your motivation, thank you. I'm Gabriele Chiapparini, welcome to this new episode of Small Photobook Cult. If you like our videos, please like them, leave a comment or multiple comments and let us know what you think. And please subscribe to the channel to stay updated on future videos. Today, we will take a look at Riverland. This project began as an attempt to escape a moment of deep personal turmoil, but seeking relief in the space and people around the river. Through her evocative images, this work invites viewers to immerse themselves in a world where the gentle flow of a river mirrors the profound journey of life, offering a sense of hope and peace. We are here with the photographer, Marjolein Martinot. Hello, Marjolein. I'm glad to have you here.
Hi, Gabrielle. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's a great pleasure, and I'm really happy that we are going through your book today. And do you want, is Marjolein your correct pronunciation of the name?
I guess it is. It depends who's pronouncing it, but it's a Dutch name. It's called, you pronounce it actually as Marjolein, the Dutch way, but over the last years, I've heard people say Marjolein. I listen to it, whatever you call me, as long as it's not Marge, like The Simpsons, maybe. But
and your surname is from France, right?
Yeah, it's a French surname, last name, Martinot. But I'm 100% Dutch, and it's a Huguenot name. French people that went to Holland, I guess.
Yeah.
A long time ago. But no, I'm 100% Dutch. But I live in France, so I have a French name, but I'm Dutch.
Great. And today we are going to speak about your first book, right? It's the first time that you publish a book.
Yes, that's right. My first book.
How is it going?
How is it going?
Yeah, how is to have a book outside there in the world?
It's exciting. It's weird because I've never published a book before, and it was a long time in the making. I mean, I started this work in 2020, just after the first lockdown happened in France. I was a little bit, a lot, I would say, at some kind of crossroads in my life. I got this last minute chance to attend this workshop with a photographer who I admired a lot before, Vanessa Winship, and workshop was in the Indre region of France, near the Loire. And I went there just, to attend the workshop, and I did not know what to expect. It was just COVID was still happening, so it was also a little scary because there were 8 other photographers, and I knew no one, which is normally the case, I guess, in a workshop.
Yeah.
Although I haven't attended that many workshops. I think only 4, with that one including the before last one. I'll talk about the other one later. And it was a wonderful experience, and that's basically where my project started, although I did not know it was going to be a project at the time.
We can start going through the book, and if you want, you can start introducing the work, Riverland.
Riverland is basically an introspective photographic journey, I could say, maybe. It consists of black and white analog photos, and it depicts various scenes. There's portraits, there's stills and landscapes. And most of the photographs were taken in and around the rivers and waterways of southern France. And the very last picture in the book, which is a little bit smaller than the others, I don't know if you probably recall it because they have the book here, was actually the first picture I took for the work.
So let's go there 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry, viewers, we're going to spoil the book now, but
going fast forward here. Yeah, that's it, right? Well, that was with this. I took a few more, but we chose together with STANLEY-BARKER this one. It was a kind of a surreal moment. It was on the Creuse River, and you have to imagine it was COVID time. Everybody was sort of afraid to be too near to other people. And I just stumbled upon this scene of these little boys playing, and it was just an amazing moment. And I took several rolls of film, and there's like about 4 or 5 that I liked, and then chose this one to go into the book. If or when there will be an exhibition of Riverland, or maybe we'll have more photos of those boys playing too. But for now, it's this one. And it's for me, it's the core of the work. It's where it started for me, yeah.
And you decided to put it in very last page.
Yeah, that happened actually quite towards the end of the process of the selections. We didn't figure out where it could go in the middle, actually. It's sort of a standalone image for me, although, when you go through the book, it sort of relates to other images as well. But for me, it's very special because it's where it started. And so it was actually my decision to put it smaller and in towards the very end, because I wanted to sort of highlight a little bit the meaningful moment for me, and showing it a little bit separate, maybe. I don't know. I just felt good. I liked it, and it's something special for me looking at it.
Yeah, it's a really lovely and also weird choice. Like, the most important picture for you, it's the last and the smallest. It's probably the opposite of what a lot of people can choose to do.
It becomes maybe a little bit more precious that way, I thought. Sometimes the pictures that are the most important might not be the biggest ones, but it could be the small ones too, that you sort of have to take time to look at,
Yeah, I agree. But is there other picture of this moment in the book or not?
Of this particular moment, no, there isn't. No. I went back to this particular place, though, 2 years later, and I photographed other people, but there were not these little boys, no. This picture was taken in the middle, right after the first lockdown in 2020. And it's a magical place. And the little lost boys from Peter Pan.
Yeah. So I will come back to the start of the book, so everybody can see the full book. And you decided to call this project Riverland.
I did.
Why?
Well, that did not come to me right away. Oh, wow, you go fast.
Yeah, just...
Okay, you're speeding it up. No, Riverland came to me actually, I would say probably 2 years into the project. I mean, you have to know that I did not think it was going to be a project. I mean, I started photographing just for me, things that I just liked. It was a workshop, and we had several days that we just could go out, and the nature was just beautiful. And like I said before, I was at a bad place. There were bad things going on in the world. I felt quite overwhelmed to such a degree that I felt like, I just needed to get out. And I made some connections there. And actually, I forgot the question. Sorry.
No, don't worry. It was about the title.
Riverland. Yes,
and
the title. Yeah.
Like the title and project, as you like.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's funny because it was, like I said, it was about 2 years into the project when I started putting photos together. And I sort of saw that for me, there was some kind of logic in the way they interrelated. And also, at that same time, I felt there was a little bit of a fairy tale vibe to it. Like I said before, the Lost Boys and Peter Pan, that sort of flashed in my mind when I took the photo, but I didn't think much of it. But when I later on looked at some of the images I'd taken, like in 22, 23, I think it was in 22, late of 22, I felt like, there was something of a fairy tale vibe. So I thought playing, Lost Boys, Neverland, river. I mean, I was taking photos around rivers. So I just put 2 and 2 together and became Riverland. And it sort of stuck with me, and it stuck it out that way.
Why the river and the nature? What did you find in those places that you couldn't find elsewhere?
Well, it was partly coincidence, I guess, because that's where I started with the first picture. When I'd taken that photo, something shifted inside of me, and I felt like I need to go back and I need to take more pictures. And I I always loved rivers. I think rivers are one of nature's most beautiful and diverse ecosystems. So I thought, well, I just need to go back and take more pictures. I don't know what or when or where, but I went to different rivers down south. I went to different areas in France. I don't know if you're familiar with the areas, Lot and Garonne, the Tarn, the Aveyron, different areas. They're all beautiful. It's all where were the rivers. I went to see the rivers, and I just decided to sort of hike along them and see what I could see and find, and who I was meeting or who I was going to meet.
Do you think that the project could exist without the workshop?
Maybe because at that time I just needed to get away, and that was an opportunity for me to do something. And so I did that. And I was lucky that something shifted and something started, and I got some kind of idea that I wanted to produce more work, although I wasn't even thinking about any book or, there was no project. It was just, but there's something about nature, when things get really tough, which was the case happening to me. I mean, I was at a difficult place in my personal life. I wasn't sure. I was I had lots of things going on. I had my father was very sick with Alzheimer's. Subsequently, he died during the taking of the photos. My mother had died a long time ago. There were a lot of things going on. I had maybe something of, I don't know, maybe a midlife crisis. What do you call it? A confusion of identity. I mean, I'm Dutch, but I've been living more than half of my life in France. I had a very, very intense and busy life. I'm a mom and trying to be a woman and trying to make it as an artist too. And that was always was a real challenge. And also all the things that were going on in the world affected me with that. And I found a lot of the time that I had this kind of knot in my stomach, and I felt really quite bad. And after, taking those first photos, there was something that, I don't know, something happened, and I felt like this is just wonderful. I was really happy to be able to take photos like that and to be in a place that I didn't know. And very simple. It's basically a river, and everybody has access to it. It was beautiful nature. It's nothing fancy. But it's just an amazing feeling. And later on, when I made more trips going back to river areas in southern France, and you get up early in the morning and you get your camera and you walk around and you hear, the birds, and the sun is coming up, and you're in front of some really beautiful flora or nature, and then you can capture that with your camera. It's just an amazing feeling. It's just lovely. And it's distracting, it's nurturing, it's therapeutic, it's just something that really helped me a lot, and I just keep doing that. I kept doing that.
It's really curious that the fact that a lot of works that I had in this podcast is about this a bit, like a lot of people struggling or having like a really hard moment. So they decide to go to the nature and they found something. And it's really curious because we live right now like in a specific moment where the nature seems to be really far away. Like we don't care so much. We have this climate change and nobody cares.
Right, which is pretty sad. But it must say something about you too, if you're selecting a lot of people that have this relationship with nature. And
yeah, it's really weird. You have to think about it.
There's something about you too, Gabriel.
No, I don't know. Like it's probably I'm selecting people from my bookshelf, like the books that I own or the book that I see and I like it. So probably yes, there is something. But yeah, it's I think it's interesting the fact that it's really a comfort zone where the people can go and find some relief.
It's so near, and people just take it for granted. But if you find areas that are, and I happen to love photography, so if there's a moment that is quiet and calm and the light is beautiful, and you're a photographer too. So if you're pressing the shutter and you've taken a really good photo and you're in a beautiful area, there's like almost nothing better. It's like it's just wonderful, It's like a little treasure that goes into the box,
Yeah.
And you accumulate these treasures, and you're in a beautiful area. It's like it's as good as it can get, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. But you made a really specific choice. You decided to portray almost only young people.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there were some other people that didn't make it into the book, and I don't know if that's because they were old or, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's by chance. I don't know. I didn't approach only young people.
Like related to what you said before, that let's say middle age crisis. I think and it's just my thoughts, that it's really interesting the fact that in this kind of middle age crisis, choosing to portray younger people can be maybe an unconscious choice.
Perhaps.
I don't know, maybe it's like something that you can, it's always beautiful to see people in this kind of age that are not completely, completely adult. There is still a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, they have their whole life ahead of them. I find, the portraits are pretty straightforward and a little bit confronting. The landscapes are a little bit more kind of, dreamy and calm. And there's something about that I liked, because it sort of confronts me with me, because the people are looking at me when I take their photo. And when I later on look at the pictures, it's almost like they're looking at me and I'm sort of going through this phase, and there's something about it that sort of resonated with me to put them like that together in the book. So yeah, young people looking at me. They're not my kids, by the way. They're people that I've met along the river travels.
Yeah, but it's true. Like in almost all portraits, they are looking straight to the camera.
Yeah, yeah, and it's nice if you get just that little fragment of some kind of personality or some kind of an expression that means something. It's really nice. It happens really fast. I like taking people's portraits. I've come to really like that a lot, actually. Although I'm pretty shy, so. When I go to a person in the beginning, I think the first year, the 2020, 2021, I was sort of a little nervous, and I went to too many people maybe and asked to take their portrait. And most people agreed. I've never had really a problem with people saying no. But then I sometimes I started taking a photo of someone, and I had him in front of the lens, and I thought, it's nice, but it's okay. It's going to be an exercise, but it's not really the person I thought would be special. So I made mistakes like that, and I went too fast in the beginning too. So that changed the year following. I was more selective, and I said, oh, well, this person looks interesting. And I went and asked them if I could take their portrait. And I really tried to take my time, because I think it's important. And to talk first, of course, talk to the person first and show what I've done so far. And I think it worked much better in that way. So I sort of stayed with that approach, and it helped.
So you just said that you didn't find something special in some pictures. What special means to you? Like what are you looking for?
Special? You mean you're talking about portraits still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's they don't have to be. When I see people, it's not. I'm looking not for beauty or something. It's more like something in their personality or the way they look, or that comes out. It's hard to describe, but it's something that there's a connection that's made when I take the photo, and the people have something interesting in their demeanor or in their face, and sometimes you think you got the person, but then it does, like I said before, but then it doesn't feel right. So I was more selective, and when it was better, after that. I always send people, no matter if I used a photo or not, I always send them the picture, because I think it's just the right thing to do, and they always appreciate that too. So
yeah, I agree. And also, it's funny the fact that sometimes you think you found someone interesting, and then you look inside the viewfinder, and it's not.
Yeah.
Like it's weird because it's in some way it's the same thing that you are watching with your eyes, but when you look through the viewfinder, something change.
It does. And some people are just more natural than others. You know, some people are just really, they see a camera and they freeze. And it's, you try to talk and you try to, but they have like there were some instances, for example, I was taking girls' pictures and then the mom was really close and they said, well, smile, smile.
Yeah.
I said, no, they don't need to smile. They just need to be, themselves. If they want to smile, it comes naturally, yes, but, just be yourself. You don't have to smile.
Yeah.
And so, it was hard when the mom was right next to me, of course, too. But I mean, I understand if some stranger comes and takes a photo of your child, you want to be sort of in the close vicinity, obviously. But no, but overall, I had only good experiences. But it's always a challenge. But it's nice too. I do like taking portraits.
Yeah, I can feel it. Like all your portraits are really beautiful, really strong.
Thank you.
How do you approach these people? Like, I mean, for example, this picture. How did you build it?
Well, the portraits are you put them. I mean, you put the people where there's the best light. This particular portrait was taken. I think it was sort of in the late afternoon. And the sun was still a little bit harsh. So the only shade that I could find, because, you don't want to have that really bright sun, was under the tree. And these boys were with a coordinator of kids that I forgot which region they were coming from, but they were vacationing for a few days in the area. And so I was working with the coordinator of this group of kids, and I got all their contact info, of course, too. And they just sat down and, I took their photo, and I didn't direct them too much, but I just wanted to make sure the light was good. And yeah, I liked it because the boy beyond is sort of looking down. I don't know if he's looking at his phone, I forgot, but I like the look of this boy looking at me. Again, kind of in a maybe sort of a confrontational thing for me, but for me it worked. So yeah.
And what about this one? Sorry, I'm just deep down a bit.
Yeah, those were actually taken at the same spot of the very first photo, which is now the last picture in the book, at that particular tree. This is an amazing spot. I'm not going to reveal where it is. Some people know where it is. It's just it's like a little fairy tale spot, a little island in the middle of a river. And so they were just there's this. It's a beautiful old tree where people just sort of walk on, and then there is these swings that they swing off, and that they were doing that. And so I was taking some of the photos, and then they were just standing there after a while. They were, having a smoke, and they knew at that time that I was taking photos, so they were fine with it. And I just took this picture.
But do you ask to the two guys on the back to standing there with the harps on the trees and the other one to watch you?
No. They were standing there, and I said, and I asked, I forgot, I don't know if I have the name written down, but I forgot the name of the boy. I said, I asked him to look at me. I did ask him, but the others, they were standing like that.
Yeah, it's that kind of pictures that you think that it's, you really build it, but yeah, it's really interesting that you don't.
No, I don't like stage photos that much. I mean, there's other photos in there too. The problem with the stage photo is that I feel like it always shows. I mean, for me, I know that it would show, but it's hard to start taking photos if you see something that's attractive. Like here, they knew, because I had already been taking photos of them in the tree, and then I think I had. Sat down at lunch, or not lunch, but like a snack or something, and they were still there. And I asked, can you look here for a minute? Because I knew it's vaping. I think he was vaping, and I just liked that. So I took a few photos with the vape visible, because that's a little cloud that I liked. It's a graphic detail in the photo. Yeah, and there's another photo of some girls. I think it's more towards the end of the book. Two girls. They were playing in the water, and they were there. They were German girls.
Is it this one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, they were there with their parents, and I saw the photo, and I had to take it. But then I asked afterwards, and I got some good shots because the girls were really relaxed, and they didn't pose or anything. I mean, I said, just do whatever you were doing, and just don't mind me. And the parents were really nice, and I sent them the photos afterwards too. So these are moments I just like. It feels natural. They were just there, and I took several. Of course, I took like I don't know, maybe 8 or 10. And 2 that I liked, and this one came into the book, ended up in the book.
And Marjolein, why you decide to use black and white for this project? Because in the previous one, you use also a lot of colors.
Yeah, I like color too. It's not I'm not a only black and white photographer. For this project, it sort of happened gradually. At some point, while I started taking photos in the very beginning, with the first photos, I was also taking color photos, actually. But then after a while, I put them together, and I felt it should be only black and white. Because it became a little bit of a different land. For me, it's like a little bit of, different. It's not, it's a little bit surreal. It's a little bit, no, I just felt it should be black and white. Because, like I said, I took photos of the boys in the trees too with colors, and I just liked the black and white so much better. So I sort of stuck with that for this project.
And also, you use different cameras.
Yeah, I did. For this project, I used 3 cameras, and I stuck with those. So I have a Mamiya, if you want to know the ones I used for it. I don't know.
Yeah, if you want.
Okay. I used a Mamiya 7. A 7.2, I think. No, 7.2. The 6x7, which is really a lovely light camera for it. It's almost like I have Nikon cameras too, so it's a little bit like working with a Nikon camera for me. And then I had a Mamiya C330, which is a 6x6, and I had a Rolleiflex too. And the advantage of the Mamiya C330 is that you can get up quite close, So I use both of them. And it's also nice to have 2 cameras sort of ready when you find something that's really great, and you keep photographing, and you don't have to, change roles in between. So I had 2 cameras sort of at the same time. Yeah. But most of the portraits were taken, not all though, most were taken with the Mamiya 6x7.
And so it's all medium format?
Yes, it's all medium format.
Yeah, because I read somewhere that you also use 35 millimeters.
I do, yeah, but not for this portrait project, no.
Why? There is a specific thing, or?
Well, no, I think it sort of fits better together. For some reason, I think it was more coherent to stay with a similar look and of photos, and no, it just felt better. The project that I've done another project, another personal project, which I started roughly with in 2010. It's called A Fall and Fireflies. It's a very personal. It photographed my family basically, and at that time I had also done a workshop with a photographer called G.H. Engstrom. He still has a Smetsby workshop. It's a year-long workshop. That's my first ever workshop I'd taken, and it was quite a revelation for me. And he likes to mix black and white and color in a quite daring way, I would say. And so, yeah, you get sort of influenced by that. And I kind of liked being free and, pick up whatever camera. At some point, I remember in the house, there were like 3 or 4 different cameras, and I had, film in all of them. But I did not know what film, I was stupid. I should have written it down, but I was shooting color and black and white. I mean, some of them I knew, but some of them I hadn't used, for example, in a month or so. And it picks up the camera, so I shoot. But what film did I put in there? But of course, you cannot see anymore, and then just wing it. And so some color and some black and white.
And why did you decide to use analog photography or not digital, for example?
I always liked the aesthetic of analog photography. I think it has a very nice feel to it. The grain, the mood, and also because I don't like to post-process or manipulate the photos too much afterwards. I'm not very technical. I'm not very good. I mean, I do in Photoshop. I do increase contrast or things like that. But I just love the aesthetics of analog photography. There's something tactile about it. You get the negatives back. I do not develop and I do not print my own photos. I mean, I used to do that a little bit in the beginning, but it's just too much. I didn't have the time, and I do admire a lot photographers who can print their own photos. I think that's really great. And one day I would like to really maybe have the time to do that myself. I use a printer who is amazing. He's in the Paris vicinity of Bagnolet. His name is Marjolein Martinot. And so I go in together with him into the dark room, and it's just a great experience. So he does all the printing, and I look, and magic happens, and we discuss, and he gives his advice. We look at it, we discuss, and I spend days in his studio and in his place, have lunch there, and it's quite nice, very intense, but just really lovely. So we do that together. We have done that together. I haven't gone back in a while. I have to go back.
But these pictures in the book are the scans of the negatives, right?
Oh yeah. They're scans of the negatives.
Not the scans of the prints.
No. They're scans of the negatives. Some of the scans of the prints. I forgot which ones. But what I wanted the book to look like was the way I had been printing with Martinot, or he was printing and I was standing next to him, I would say, the photos. So I wanted to have the book to have the same look of those photos. And I think we succeeded really well with that. It was amazingly printed at EBS in Verona, in Italy.
Yeah, they're really good.
Oh, they're amazing. That's another experience that I really, really treasure. I never seen, what all comes to look, or how do you say, when you print a book, it's very impressive. The offset process, the black, the way the paper, the choice of paper, the choice of black and white, the warmer, it's.
No, it's a mess. It's really a delicate process.
Yeah, it's really, really intriguing process. Yeah, and they did an amazing job. I was like really very, very grateful. Yeah.
And is it tritone, the print?
No, it's duotone.
It's duotone.
Yeah, it's duotone. I was asking before whether we were going to do tritone or duotone. It's duotone, and it's a slightly, because I remember the first photo we tried, and it was a little bit more cold, and then we tried another black that was a little warmer. That went much better with the paper, because the paper, I really wanted a warmer paper for this, which matched sort of the darkroom prints that I had, and we figured it out, and they all sort of came after that, looking beautifully.
Yeah, also choosing the paper is not so easy, because a lot of time the printers don't have a super wide collection of papers. So it's tricky if you want something really specific.
Right. Well, I discussed the paper beforehand with Gregory from STANLEY-BARKER. he referred me to a few books that they had done, and I looked at some books, and I knew it had to be warm, and I didn't want something shiny. I wanted something matte, something, like the feel of the paper is important. When you open the book, you want to have something that sort of feels right. And so, if you ask me what the paper was, I can find it for you, but I forgot.
Now, maybe
I'm quite bad with names, but
maybe it's
yeah.
in the colophon of the book or not.
I don't think it is actually. I don't know. Yeah.
No,
I don't think. No.
you have to say that my partner Camilla, she's a designer. She designs books for other people, and she's always super upset when people don't write the paper, because of course for her it's an amazing source. Like, we have a lot of photo books, so she can just take up photo books that she like and go in the colophon and search for the paper, and that's it. But if people don't write it, it's a mess. Because maybe you really like a paper, but it's really hard to understand what kind of paper it's.
Yeah. Well, there's something I wasn't familiar with at all. I mean, I had sort of my ideas what I wanted the book to look like. So what kind of sort of paper, but there's so many papers, and so we found this paper, and I liked it a lot. It was actually quite warm. So, but like I said, the darkroom prints sort of looked very similar, and that was important to me as well.
Yeah, of course. Also, because in this way you have a reference, like you have something that you want to get close. Yeah. And speaking about the design, you with the STANLEY-BARKER, that once again they made an amazing job. I think it's probably one of the best publisher around. You decided for a really classical design. So one like a single picture for each spread.
Yeah. So you want me to comment on why there was only one picture a page?
Yes.
The why we sort of went from that. We tried a few pairings. I knew that the book was not going to have many pairings. I had about 2 or 3 pairings that I thought that would work together. But Gregory Barker, he's quite amazing. He has his vision of things that he's a very good vision for pictures. So what happened at the beginning of 25, we started working on the PDF, and I thought, well, I know that photographers are not the best, people or designers for their own work. I know that. I mean, I've heard it and I've seen it, and I trusted him to make a first sequence. So we discussed it, and he made a first sequence, and I really liked what he'd done, especially the beginning part and the end part. But in the middle, I wasn't finding myself. And so we went back, and there were a lot of exchanges via different PDFs and all that. And so there were some PDF versions that we'd made with pairings, but I don't know, it didn't feel right. And I just liked the pause in this work. And so yeah, it's a classical work. It's a classical approach. But I like the way. I think it works well. It's calm, it's soothing, and I think as soon as you have a pairing, there's this how do you say? There's this something that happens, that something speeds up. There's like you look left, you look right, and there's a different dynamic. So I think the pace of this work is quite consistent, and I think it suits the work well. So we stuck with that, and yes, STANLEY-BARKER they were on my radar screen, so to speak, for many years, and because I always liked the way their attention to detail and their consistent, beautiful printed books, and maybe a little classical, but I felt like it was classical with a twist. It was not, just a classical book they produced. There's a lot more to it, and I was very fortunate that we started working together, and I think the end result was better than I actually hoped for. I was very happy.
Yeah, and also the choice, because the book itself is almost a square.
Yeah, not a square. I thought it was important. It was not going to be a square.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But almost, it's really close, but it doesn't bother me at all. Like it's because it bothers me a bit when it's I don't know why, when it's a square. Also when it's like landscape. I like vertical books. I don't know why.
Yeah, me too. I don't like landscape books that much. But for this book, I felt it should not be too big of a book. I felt it has to be an intimate experience when you open a book. I mean, of course, the paper, the feeling of it all. You know, you could sort of have it open in one hand and turn the pages. You don't need to put it on the table. So I didn't want that distance to be there. I felt it has to be some kind of an intimate experience. And no, not a square book, because the pictures are square, and that would feel a little bit too square, I would get. I try not to be square-minded. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You said really two really interesting things in the last 2 minutes, and the one is this one, like the fact of when you think about a book as an object, there are like a lot of factors. One of them is the distance that you force the viewer to have, and if you produce a big book, the distance is going to be quite a lot, because you need distance from the images and from the book itself. If you project like a super small book, you want the people to get closer. And I think it's really interesting, this aspect of the design.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that the size really works for me.
Yeah, it's worked really well.
Yeah, it works for me, and it's the big. I didn't want the pictures to be too small either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's one that's like we just discussed before, the first photo, which is now the last photo, which is a little smaller, because for me it's almost a little bit more precious. So you have to go even a little closer, maybe. But no, I think the format is really good. I like it. I think it fits the project really well. I'm happy with it.
And the other thing, you said that you were happy with the first part of the editing and with the last part, not so much with the middle part. But I think this is... Yeah, go on.
No, you asked me, sorry.
No, I want just to say that I think that the central part of an editing is quite tough, because you can have a pretty clear idea of what you want as a start, and the same with the end. But the middle is always a bit hard.
Yeah, because, there's a lot of photos that you feel like they should be in, but as you know yourself, first and foremost, it's the project that should be good, the book. And some of the photos that you actually like might not work in the book. I mean, you go back and, there were a few photos that I felt bad about not there, and that ended up not being in the book. And I did feel bad about it. But then I talked to some people towards the end of the bookmaking process, and some people really said, well, you have to really prioritize which photos are really completely essential to be in there, and then just drop the other ones. And that's what I did. So I still like the ones that didn't make it in, but I feel like if there's going to be an exhibition, they can be back into it, because they're part of the process too. And they didn't fit into the book, but they can still be sort of in the aura around it. They're part of Riverland, but maybe not in the book, but they're still out there.
Yeah. It's a really painful process, because a lot of time you like put out some pictures that maybe you love a lot, and maybe are also really beautiful pictures, but doesn't fit in the book.
Yeah. That's. I think that's a common problem that photographers have when they make a book, or graphic designers. This is why I think it's hard for photographers to design their own book, because they have a special relationship with maybe some pictures, and they feel that they have to be in the book. But then if you look at coming from the graphic design part, you feel it completely different. And it's maybe good to have an objective person looking at the work.
Of course.
I feel you really need to, with that person who's going to make your work, they have to feel your work, and you have to recognize your work as your work by the hands of the other person. And this is what I was lucky that happened in the end. But in the middle, Gregory had put some photos in that I wasn't so sure about, and left out some that I felt stronger about. And I had made an A selection and a B selection. I mean, I had lots and lots of photos. I had so much work. So getting it all down, but in the end, it's the result, and I'm super happy with it, with the way it looks. So
Yeah, but also because if a picture didn't make it for an exhibition, it's okay. Maybe it's gonna to be in the next exhibition. If it's out from the book, it's out. Like
exactly,
it's not gonna happen. Like maybe you can do like a second edition, and maybe you can add some more pictures. But if it happens, it's going to happen in some years.
Right. Well, I'm not thinking about a second edition just yet.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just there, just barely out there. So
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that when you design the book, you have to make this selection, and the pictures that are out almost forever. Like also because I think really few books can reach that point that you can start thinking about a second edition.
Right.
So
yeah, well, it's a process, I mean, some pictures I felt they should be in, and then they were out, and I didn't even feel that bad about it. Like you say, they can be somewhere else. They can, if you do an exhibition, you can sort of reintroduce them, and at least the pictures that you really care about. But I think it's more important to make a work that is coherent and that goes together, and it becomes more stronger that way. Like all the pictures, they should be, good, that work together, and I think that's the main objective.
Yeah, of course, I agree. Do you have a favorite picture?
Do I have well, it would be the little boys, I guess.
Which one?
It's the first picture. It's the first picture. It's the last picture in the book.
Okay, that one.
I've special. I visited. When I took that picture, I was in a bad place, and I would say that something shifted. So it was a eureka moment for me. So I think that's I go back to that picture or pictures, because I have several variations of that picture. So I guess that picture, and then I like the COVID flowers too. I mean, I don't know which ones, but that's a completely different photo. It's more for graphic.
Which one?
Not those. No, it's more no, not that one. Go back. Yeah, there you got them. Yeah, those. It's not a great, or an amazing photo, but for me, this is a photo that I wouldn't mind sort of printing and seeing on my wall too, for some reason. That's funny because I took that picture and I remember thinking they remind me of the coronaviruses. And this was also during the corona time. So that sort of represented a little bit the COVID for me. A little bit, the tentacles of the virus, and the ominous, feeling and the oppressiveness of it all. And, I like that picture too. I mean, it's nothing specific, but I liked it to be in the work for sure.
Yeah, I have a favorite one that probably it's this one.
Okay. Do you see the bird?
No.
The beak of the bird? No?
The what?
Yeah, this is a picture.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, this I saw that, and for me it's like a big bird for some reason underwater. Again, this ties into the fairy tale element that I was referring to earlier. And so it's a bird, and yeah.
I don't know. Like to me, it's like there is this beautiful shiny path that can take you to another place, and there is some darkness around, but you can you can walk on this let's say safe path and reach another side of the river. And I found it quite strong and symbolic with this work.
You say, Gabriel. I like this is what I really love, is that people project their own feelings and things that because I saw something else, but I really like this photo too myself.
Yes.
Yeah. I really love hearing that people read into it.
But I do it all the time in the episode. I say my bullshit that are like what I feel when because I try to spend a bit of time with a book before to do the episode, and then I wrote down just the stuff that I feel, and I know that it's completely subjective. Like it's not I don't know. Like it's my feelings, but I really like to share it, and I really like when people share it with me, like about my work. I think it's amazing because there is not a a right or wrong thing that people can see. I like it a lot.
To hear that too, it's lovely, really, because it's another, person's mind, another dimension, another. It's enriching. Thank you for that.
No, thanks to you for the project. I want to ask you just one last questions about the work, and then we can start with the three standard questions. You decide to, you have the cover, then you enter in this a bit weird part that it's look like a solarized image, something like that.
Yeah, it's printed black on black, and this was Gregory's idea, and I really loved it. He showed it to me, and I right away, I said, this is just so great.
It's really beautiful.
And this picture is actually not in the book, but it will be in the exhibition if there's going to be an exhibition. I love this photo. It was between this and there was another picture of two boys, with one of them. And
in the
I was going back and forth. And so I'm happy it's in here, actually. I love the effect. It sort of ties into the theme of the book, I think, too, for me at least, sort of darkness going into light. Because I was in a kind of a dark place, and I was looking, to find light, so to speak, and relate to nature and take photos and feel better. And so it opens up with a dark, but it's not that dark in the end of the day. It's like
but also because the dark is on your side, like you are in this part of the picture, you are in the dark side of the pictures, but in front of you can see the lights.
You can look at it that way. I mean, I just loved it, opening it up, and I love the cover too. I mean, the cover is just
it's really beautiful.
This is the fairy tale theme thing again. We discussed, when I thought it was like a slight fairy tale feeling to the book. We started looking at fairy tale covers, like Victorian fairy tale covers and things. And I didn't want it to have too of an old folksy kind of feeling. It had to be a little bit modern still. And so Gregory and Rachel, they sent this to me, and they'd done that together with the designer. And I right away said, "Wow,
it's really amazing. It's really beautiful."
But it's at the same time very subtle too. So you have to sort of move the book around to see the embossing. So it's sort of blue at the beginning, but then you sort of move it, and it's very subtly reveals itself. And I just like that a lot. Thought it was just really nice.
Also, something that I really like in this kind of cover, it's that it's a specular cover, but not completely. It's not 100% the same. There are some.
Right.
And I love it so much. It bothers me a bit when it's completely the same left and right.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's not like you have this one here.
More personality this way, yeah. The funny thing, because they designed it, I really liked it a lot, and it's the water lily leaves. They're based on, there's a picture of the water lily leaves, and I think it's sort of based on that. And in the beginning, the picture, the water lily leaves. I mean, I liked it right away, but their leaves actually were a little bit too pointy, and then I liked it a lot. But then at some point I saw a Pac-Man. Do you know what a Pac-Man is?
Yeah, of course.
I saw the leaves as Pac-Mans, and I said, I really like it, but could they be a little bit more round?
Yeah.
And they did make it more round, and I was right away. I liked it, So there was no more Pac-Man feeling. I said, I see Pac-Man, and I cannot not see Pac-Man anymore. So I didn't want to. Yeah. So anyway, that was a funny thing that happened, but Pac-Man is all gone. As I no more Pac-Mans.
So Marjolein, do you have a specific music that you suggest to listen watching this book?
I like to listen to different musics, different songs, different type of music. So you could listen to a classic music. I mean, I love listening to Bach, for example, or Chopin, and it works really well. So I've done that. Like I said, when I made the pictures, I didn't listen to music. I mean, I did listen to the music when I was driving in the car or afterwards processing the film. But I also like, so I can maybe name a few musics, different kind of musics. A song or a group that I listen to. I love Fleetwood Mac, for example. I'm a Generation X. I love Fleetwood Mac. Mark Knopfler is another person I like a lot. Leonard Cohen, Nick Cave. And so Fleetwood Mac I mentioned, there's a song called Landslide that I really love. So I put Landslide on. And I really love that. Listen to that one. Eddie Vedder, Into the Wild. I don't know if you heard of the soundtrack. I really like a lot of the songs there. And since you're Italian, maybe it's not your kind of thing, but I liked Einaudi, Ultramare. It's about the sea, I guess, Ultramare, but it's a very beautiful piece of music that I think it was from the movie No Man's Land, if I'm right.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't remember.
Yeah, but those are kind of, there's another one song that I like to listen to too. Grateful Dead, Ripple. I like that a lot.
Amazing, yeah. I like it too.
Yeah, okay, good. So different kind of music. But, classical music gives you a little bit of a different feel, and some other music gives you... But I don't think it needs to have classical music all the time, so...
Yeah. And do you learn something during the process of this project that can help other photographers?
I would say, I think you have to trust yourself. Embrace, meeting, like I embrace meeting strangers, which is difficult, and especially in the beginning. And you get over a certain point that is maybe a little easier. I certainly, at some moments, I felt I was out of my comfort zone. I was never scared where I was. And some people that you meet are just, you think, normally I would not, say anything to that person or talk to that person. But then, you ask if you can take their portrait, for example. I mean, I'm talking also about some older people, not just the younger people that are mostly featured now in the book. I mean, I did photograph some older people too. I always had very good experiences and interesting exchanges. And I think it's being a photographer can be sometimes quite solitary. Also, when you process the work, you're faced, you're looking at your images, and I feel you have to trust your gut feeling with a lot of the things. I feel that what came down to. Because there's a lot of times that you sort of hesitate or you doubt yourself, and of course I asked other friends, photographers, for advice, which is good. But I also did not want to ask too many people for advice, because I felt then it was going to go too many. I get too many impressions and too many opinions, and that was going to take me too far. So I wanted to stay with just a few people. And trust your gut. That's a good thing.
And the very last question, can you suggest us a book to have in a future episode?
Can I suggest you a book for a future episode? Well, I have 3, but you can only choose.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. There's a few books that came out that I really liked. I liked a book called Tara, by Sebastian Bruno. I think that's a really nice book. I saw an exhibition and I met Sebastian. I thought it was just an amazing work. Another book that I really liked that came out last year is called I Imagined It Empty by Ruth Lauer Manenti, I think. It's a very touching, beautiful book about, I think, her mom's passing and the empty house that she encountered. It's beautifully done. And then lastly, there's a photographer is a wonderful person and a great photographer, and he prints his own photos. His name is Israel Arino. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No.
He's a Spanish photographer, and he works a lot in France. And his last book, which I thought was quite an intriguing title, On nous a dit qu'il n'avait rien et nous sommes allés le chercher. They told us there was nothing and we went to look for it. And I thought it was just a great title, and it's a lovely book. And Israel has printed, other books as well. So I think I would check him out too. So those are 3 people from the top of my head.
I'm going to check it out for sure. I'm really curious now. 3 titles are a lot. I'm really curious. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Gabriel. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was really nice. Really, I don't know, like it's flowed really well. So I hope you are happy with the conversation.
Yeah, I'm happy. You made it, relaxing, which is nice. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I hope we'll meet in Arles.
Yeah, we're going to meet in 1 week probably. It's really good. It's the first time that I record something, and in 1 week I'm going to meet the photographer. It's really nice.
That is nice.
Yeah, it is. So, okay, thank you so much, everybody. That if you have listened to this episode, please write comments. No one is writing comments, so write comments about this book. Also like the stupid things like I done before, like write what you see in the pictures or what you feel. And yeah, hope you like it. And thank you really so much, Marjolein.
You're welcome.
And see you soon.
See you soon.
Ciao.
Ciao.